Welcome to the Learn MODX in 10 Days tutorials. My name is Chris Surratt, and my hope is to walk you through a series of tutorials to teach you really the basics of MODX and what I've learned over the years working with MODX. And these kind of 10-step tutorials aren't really going to go into a whole lot of detail about MODX and the system itself, but really give you a good foundational starting point if you are a potential developer or designer or programmer. No matter who you are, really the goal is today in these tutorials to kind of get you really diving into MODX and really serving as a primer to really help you start getting the feel for MODX, how it's set up, and how it works. So today what we're going to do is we're going to just just start with a basic download of MODX. We're going to set it up on localhost, and we're going to begin to build download some things today to just kind of get the foundational set up for MODX. And at the end of the tutorial, we'll just have like a simple template, just showing you how you output content on a page from the CMS and then showing it on the actual web page itself. So today's really just about setting it up, downloading it, and just a real basic starting point that we'll kind of use to jump into the other tutorials. So if you haven't done so, go ahead and go to MODX, MODX, and we'll go to software, and we'll go to MODX Revolution. There are two flavors of MODX. There's Revolution and Evolution. Evolution is the legacy system for MODX, but Revolution is really the current and future of MODX. So I would definitely advise you to use MODX Revolution, but nothing wrong with Evolution. But everything in the development community is really moving toward Revolution, so that would be my advice. So I'm going to go ahead and grab traditional, and immediately it's going to kind of show you this form and ask you to sign up. But for the sake of the tutorial, we're just going to wait for it to go ahead and give us the download. And as you see, it's going to go ahead and download it here in the corner, and we'll go ahead and download that. And so let's open up our directory here where we downloaded it. So I'm going to go ahead and unzip this here, or rather, let's do this. I'm going to, while we're working on this tutorial, I'm going to be building this all in the local host environment. I'm not going to be building this on a server, actual, an online server. I'm just going to do this all local host, and the same things that I'm teaching in this tutorial will apply if you're doing this online on a server. So let's go ahead and I'm going to open up a directory, and I am going to create a new, let's see, I'm going to go to new folder. I'm just going to call this MODX, and I'll call this, Dev1. Okay, so let's do this. We'll drag this into here, go ahead and double click it and unzip it. And immediately we get all our files. So I'm going to just copy these and bring them over and delete this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fire up a localhost here. And I've already got all my permissions set up, but let's first build a database, put that together real quick. So let's go to create a new database, and we'll call this MODX Dev1. Hopefully I don't already have one created, name that. But let's see. Okay, so we set up our database, and this is all done on localhost, and of course you'll need to set up permissions to connect to your database in your environment. So if you haven't set up the database username to connect to your database, go ahead and do so. So I'm going to go ahead and go to localhost over here, and let's come over here to MODX. Let's see, where did we just put that? Dev1 right there. So as we come over here, we're going to need to go to the setup page. And so let's go ahead and start going through the wizard in the tutorial here the wizard to set up MODX. And while we're doing this tutorial, the newest version is 2.25. So we'll go ahead and hit select, and it's going to guide us through. We're doing a new installation. Got all our permissions set here properly. So let's go ahead and hit next. I'm just going to go ahead and set up the username password here. MODX database name. I'll just copy that from over here, and we'll test. So it says that it's not testing, or rather it's not working. And let's see what's wrong. So saying that we set up the password and username wrong. So let's try that again. Okay, works correctly that time. I was getting ahead and I was setting up a username for the MODX manager. I didn't set up the database login name and password correct. So you'll need to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and go down to UTF-8, and I'm going to drop it down. I'm sorry, this drops out of the screen, but I'm going to choose UTF-8 General, get a test, and we get a success. Now let's go ahead and put our username, which I was trying to do a second ago, and I'll just put this as my company's website address, and I'll just set up a password, and I'll hit next. And what it's going to do is it'll do a little system check to make sure all your settings, everything's good for this to work. Make sure you've got enough RAM, all the different libraries are set up and installed. So it's telling us everything's good. And if it's not, you'll need to go through and figure out what's wrong. If you do run something you can't figure it out, the forums are a great place to get help. If you're running into a problem you can't figure it out, saying, hey, this is telling me it's not working. So hopefully it works for you, and we'll go ahead and hit install. And now it's going to set it up on the local host. It's telling me everything was successful, and we'll hit next. So now let's go ahead and log in with the new account that we just set up. Okay, so if everything worked correctly, we should be logged in. It's going to give us this nice little welcome message, and we'll go ahead and click out of that. Okay, so what do we've got here? We've got a basic MODX interface. You can customize what you're going to see here by the dashboard. That's not covered in this tutorial. Just kind of a quick overview in the MODX structure, or really most of the work that I do in MODX is here in this tree structure. Right now we've only got one MODX resource, which is a home page. You can create as many as you want here, and we'll do that in the future tutorials. But for now, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start with a real few basic things. For example, when I get into a MODX site for the first time, I want to change the name, MODX Revolution. Well, let's see, let's go over here to System Settings. I go to System Settings, and I'm going to come over here to, and then we get to choose, it says Filter by Area. And I'm going to go over here to Site, click on that, and we scroll down, it'll give us a name right there, the MODX Revolution. I just want to name this, we'll just name it Chris Surratt, or rather, let's do this. Let's call it MODX Dev 1. Okay, so come over here, and it should save it, and it did. That's updated. Okay, so let's go ahead and start installing some of the plugins that I use all the time. If you go to MODX, let's see. By the way, you don't have to install the ones I'm installing, but these are just the ones that I find really useful. If you go over to Addons right here, you'll see kind of what's popular in the community, the top downloads. Let's see what else we got here. I'm going to grab probably 5 of these 7 right here. You can go through here and look at a whole lot of other other plugins, or as they call them, extras. There's a ton of them in here. Just find what suits you, but for what we're going to do in this tutorial is I'm going to show you some of the ones that I use the most. So let's go over here to Package Management. Again, if you go to System and go to Package Management. So I'm getting ahead of myself here. Go ahead and click on Download Extras. And we're going to grab TinyMCE and click on it. Let's go ahead and hit Download. And just wait a second for that to download. Okay, so that downloaded, so we'll go ahead and hit View Details, and everything looks good. If we go back to Package Management, let's go ahead and grab a few of the other ones here. Sorry, let me click that one more time. So we'll go ahead and let's get a few others here. We'll get Wayfinder. Wayfinder is MODX, the MODX navigation structure. I use this one to get resources all the time. I don't think I could really build a website without Wayfinder or Get Resources. I mean, you could, but Wayfinder and Get Resources are probably the two that I use by far the most. We'll go ahead and grab those two. Let's see what else they've got that's popular. I like CodeMirror. CodeMirror allows you to It's kind of like a little editor in MODX that allows you to, while you're going through your code, and just kind of highlights and helps you keep things organized. You'll see when we start coding in MODX, you'll see how useful it is. I use, let's see what else we have. PHP Thumb. I like PHP Thumb. What else have they got here? Form, good. You can build a form with that. I probably should do a tutorial on building a form, but we'll go ahead and download and install that. That's a good one. And let me see what else have we got. I use one called if. Let me see if we can find that, if it'll pull it up here in the search. There it is. Allows you to write inline conditional statements. You know, it's really useful to say, okay, if this is empty, then do this, else do that. You know, just kind of compare things against each other. Just helps kind of write code really quickly for me. So, okay, so these are some good ones. Oh yeah, we forget to get PHP Thumb. Let me get that one. PHP Thumb of, and there it is. We'll go ahead and grab that one. Okay, I think we get enough to start with, and we can pick up more later if we need them. So you can just go ahead and hit install on all of these, and you can just go through the process, and it's just gonna, you know, it's gonna show you as you do it. But I'm gonna go ahead and pause this while I install these, you know, save you having to watch me install one at a time. But all you have to do is just simply come over to install, just go to continue on all of these, and it's gonna tell you what's going on, and you hit OK for each one. Okay, so we've got them all installed. Everything looks good. It'll tell you if it needs updates. You know, you'll see sometimes it'll have a little like yellow telling you, hey, there's an update for this one, but we're all good. Everything's new and updated. Okay, so how do we begin working in MODX? And by the way, you don't have to do all this package installation before you can even work in MODX. It's just always my starting point. Let's build just a simple, you know, before we end this tutorial, let's just put together a real quick simple structure for a typical 5-page, maybe brochure website, as you would call them. So we've got a home page, which is obvious. If you come over here to web and you right click, go to create, and we'll go to create a document here. And let's create, for example, an about us. And I don't have the friendly URLs turned on right now, so what I always do when I don't have that turned on, and we'll cover that in future tutorials, I go ahead and manually type in the resource alias, that's the URL there. So we'll go ahead and hit save. And by default, pages are not set to be published, and we can change that in system setting. Let's do that real quick. Go over to system and system settings, and we'll come over here to, let's see, I believe site, and I always forget where this is at. Hold on one second, I'm going, oh, there it is right there. I was about to pause, but found it, publish default. And if you double click on it, we'll go to yes, click out of it, boom, it's updated. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so we've done home, about us. Let's say something like, we'll call it, you know, our, or you can call it portfolio, something like that. Something real generic. And again, you know, you build this structure however you want. I've built a lot of websites over the years with MODX, quite a lot. I've lost track, and you know, you just start with a simple hierarchy, or you just really, you know, plan it out in advance. But I do a lot of these kind of 5-page brochure websites, as you call them. And home, about us, portfolio. Usually there's like a, let's see, again, right-click, go to create, and go to create a document here. You could do something like, you know, our team. I know that about us and our team is kind of the same thing, but you know, just whatever, just be creative here. And let's do one more. Let's do contact. That's an obvious one. And we'll just go ahead and call this contact. Okay, that's enough. I think we get it all, at least, you know, for a 5-page website to start with. So what is this really? This is your tree structure, and you can add, you know, as many as you want. You can add children resources within each one of these resources. So for example, if you say our team and you have 5 people, I would just simply right click and I would go to create and then create a document here, and say for example Bob Smith is your CEO. We'll put him Bob Smith, and we'll go ahead and save it. So what you'll see is you'll begin to see a parent-child relationship forming. Our team as a parent, Bob Smith, is the child. In MODX, this is called a container. Whenever you see this little icon with a little arrow, you now realize, oh, okay, I've got a container. If I click on that arrow, I'm going to now see what's inside. So you can keep going down this structure. So, or rather this hierarchy. So if we say Bob Smith and we want to talk about maybe he, we're going to talk about, he has 2 children. We want to, again, or maybe he has different hobbies and we want to list them underneath. So, we say hobby 1. And again, this is just purely to show you how a hierarchy can be quickly formed. You may have totally different application, but you'll see what I'm getting at here. Okay, so I don't want to leave this tutorial without at least showing you the front end of the site, something happening. So let's look here. All these resources so far that we've created in MODX, they're all using the same template, which is called base template. It ships with MODX. And we'll cover templates in future tutorials. But for now, let's go ahead and crack open templates, and we'll go to base templates and see what's going on here. In MODX, you can create your HTML however you want. That's the thing I love most about MODX. There's no restrictions whatsoever. Just totally, however you want to build it, it does not get in your way. So you're going to see a little, placeholder here called content. Whatever you type in the content area of MODX, it's going to output on the page. What do I mean by the content area? If I come over here, let's say for the home page, for example, and this is the content area right here. So if I were to type in, how now brown cow, and we're to save that, and I click on view, boom, there it is, right there, how now brown cow. And you'll see up here in the, in your title, you've got MODX Dev 1 home. And again, if we were to come over here and we looked at base template, you'll see it's got these site placeholders, the site name, and page title. Page title being the page title that we gave right here, home. So hopefully this kind of gives you at least a primer and a starting point to say, okay, I think I get the basic idea of MODX. You just have a system that we're going to download. It's PHP, hook it up to your database, get that all connected, walk through the wizard to set up the system, and then once you get in, start populating the structure the way you want it. Put some plugins, or rather some packages, the different things that I showed you. And again, look through. I would encourage you to look through the section here. There's so many different creative modules and plugins here that the community has provided. A lot of good ones in here, so they're all free to use. It's really great. And so, all right, well, hopefully that's at least going to get your interest peaked, and in future tutorials we'll start going through setting up a basic tutorial or basic template on MODX and what that actually looks like.